Good morning, boys and girls. Today is our last lesson in chapter 11, and I am so excited to do this lesson with you today. We are working with composite figures, which basically just means we have put more than one shape together to make an odd looking shape, and we are going to take them apart and find the volume. So, first, we break the shape apart into two different shapes. So if we're looking at our first shape right here, we can see that we have what looks like a cube and a rectangular prism that have been put together. So I'm just going to go ahead and break them apart by drawing a line right here. And you can see that now it looks like we have two separate shapes. So in order to find the volume of this whole shape, we have to find the volume of each of the two shapes that we broke this big shape into. That may sound a little confusing, but it's not as hard as you may think. It just means we need to find the volume of this cube and this rectangular prism, add them together to have our volume of the whole shape. Because we know that length times width times height will give us the volume of a rectangular prism or a cube. And so we're going to split shapes into shapes that we already know. What that means is that we have to know the length, width, and height of each of these shapes. This rectangular prism on top, we know, has a width of 2 centimeters, and it doesn't have any other measurements. So we're going to have to figure those out based on the rest of the drawing. Well, we can see that this line is 4 centimeters, which means that this line and this line and this line and this line are also 4 centimeters. So we have a length of 2 centimeters, a width of 4 centimeters, and now we just have to figure out our height. Well, we know that this bottom shape is a cube, so it's a 4 by 4 by 4 centimeter cube now that we've broken it apart. If this whole side right here is 6 centimeters, the bottom half is 4, that means what we have left on our top rectangular prism is 2 centimeters. So our top shape is a 4 by 2 by 2, and our bottom shape is a 4 by 4 by 4. So we're going to have to figure out the volume of the top shape by having 4 times 2 times 2. We know that 4 times 2 is 8, and then 8 times 2 is 16. So the volume of the top shape is 16 centimeters cubed. So I'll go ahead and write that right beside it. Remember, cubed, you can do CUCM, or you can do the CM with the little 3 in the corner. And then the volume of our bottom shape, we're going to find by doing 4 times 4 times 4. I know that 4 times 4 is 16. I'm not sure what 16 times 4 is right off the top of my head, so I'm going to write it out and solve it. I know that 6 times 4 is 24, so I'm going to drop a 4 and carry a 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So my volume of my bottom shape is 64 centimeters cubed. So now what I have to do in order to find the volume of that whole shape is add these two numbers together. 6 plus 4 is 10, so I drop a 0, carry a 1. 6 plus 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So we just determined that the volume of this whole composite figure is 80 centimeters cubed. All we did was split our composite figure into two shapes. We found the volume of each and we added it together. We're going to do one more together, and then you're going to do this try it out problem on your own in a discussion board, just like you did a few days ago. So let's go ahead and break this shape into two. I'm going to break it right here because that makes me have two rectangular prisms. And I'm going to go ahead and change my color so that we don't get confused from one problem to the next. So I can see my first prism, I already have a 4 by 2 shape. And I need to figure out the length of my height because I already have my length and width. So I know I'm going to have a 4 by 2, and I need to figure out that height. Well, let's look at the rest of the shape and see if it gives me the height somewhere. Right here, right? This gives me the height of the shape as 2 centimeters. So that tells me that this height is also going to be 2 centimeters. So I can go ahead and fill in that height for this shape as 2. I have 4 times 2 times 2. We had that same thing for our top shape, so I already know that I'm going to have a volume of 16 centimeters cubed. Then I need to find out the volume of my last shape. Well, we just determined that the height was 2. So I know my height is 2. Now I need to determine my length and width. Well, my length is also 2 because we can see that right here, already measured for us. And then my width is going to be right here, and it tells me that that is 6 centimeters. I know that 6 times 2 is 12, and 12 times 2 is 24. So the volume of my second shape is 24 centimeters cubed. I need to add 16 and 24 to figure out what the total volume of my shape is. I know that 6 plus 4 is 10. So I'm going to drop my 0, carry my 1, and then I have 2 plus 1, which is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. So my volume of this shape is 40 centimeters cubed. Remember, to find the volume of composite figures, you break the shape into 2, and then you multiply the length, width, and height of each of your shapes to find the volume. You will have 2 different volumes since you're finding the volume of 2 shapes. When you add those together, you will have the answer to the volume of the whole composite figure. So when you try this try it out problem, break this shape into 2 separate shapes. You could either break it apart here, or you could break it apart here. Whichever you choose, whichever is easiest for you. Choose which way you're going to break apart your shape. Then determine the length, width, and height of those shapes and find the volume and add them together. If you have any questions, please reach out to me and let me know. I hope that you have an amazing Wednesday. I will see you tomorrow for our Kahoot review, and don't miss that test on Friday. And that is all we will do before spring break. Have a great Wednesday.